Welcome, one and all. This is Ultimate Wrestling Trivia. I'm Mike Merc, and as you can see, I'm by myself today. And that's not by design. Actually, in fact, this episode that is airing right now was recorded on Monday of this week. That would be Monday, August 5th. And if you've ever listened to a pro wrestling podcast, you've heard the podcasters say, and it doesn't even have to be a wrestling podcast, it's any podcast, that was our best episode, but we forgot to hit record. Oh, that was the best conversation, but we hadn't even started recording yet. Or that was our best episode ever, and the audio didn't work. Sadly, that happened to us. Today's episode featured Derek, Devon, and Angelo Stefano giving their thoughts on SummerSlam, as well as Derek doing a little G1 minute on New Japan Pro Wrestling's The G1 Classic. And we had an audio issue. It was definitely a user error. It could not be fixed or salvaged. I'll play a little buzz for you. Yeah, so basically, we did what we do. We improvised. We made do. And the end result is, due to the short turnaround nature of this, this episode should have dropped on Tuesday night at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central. However, because of that issue, we had to reshoot it. And then with the getting together to get the files, the transfers, everything else that goes along with it, the editing, it's released now, so it released a day late. So we had to improvise a little bit. So we're gonna kick things off with our new and improved SummerSlam review episode. SummerSlam itself was kicked off by none other than Triple H. Paul Levesque introduced Jelly Roll, who sang the Song of Summer, or the Song of SummerSlam rather, in the ring with his band. And that led into the first show. So kicking off our review is none other than Devon. Take it away, Devon.
What's up? It's Devon with Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, and we are giving the SummerSlam 2024 review on YouTube. Of course, it was a very fun 4 hours on par with Mania this year from Philadelphia, the biggest event of the summer. And it definitely seemed like the crowd had a lot of fun out there in Cleveland, and now it's going to be turning into 2 nights. It sounds like this was the last night as a one-night SummerSlam event, and the last time the WWE presented a pay-per-view that featured nothing but single matches. You got to go all the way back to NXT TakeOver 36. That happened in August of 2021. Yeah, no tag team matches on this PLE, which it was kind of bizarre, but it was okay. It had a nice little flow to it, for sure. Well, the opening contest was super fun. It was engaging. People were it was a very story driven matchup, and probably my favorite one, the Women's World Championship, as Liv Morgan faced Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan would walk out the champion thanks to Dirty Dom, who went from dirty to daddy. Dom, he actually, hard to believe, he got even sleazier. Is that even possible? Yeah, Dom, for sure. It was a good atmosphere for that one. The crowd was heavily engaged. Dom distracted the referee. Liv used the chair to take out Rhea, who continues to be a super over babyface in the eyes of the WWE universe. People were just eating up Rhea. And like when wrestling is done right, it's simple, right? Kiss, keep it simple, stupid kind of thing. When it's done like that, because everyone can relate to this, you know what I mean? Good versus evil, good and bad. And everybody's going to want to see Rhea Ripley get that revenge for sure. So I thought Liv and Rhea put on a pretty good matchup to start things off, for sure. Then we move to a very short contest. Didn't take very long, just a couple spears, and it was over in a blink of the eye, faster than a Noah Lyles race match in the Olympics. Talking about the Intercontinental title, which was on the line as Sami Zayn took on Braun Breaker, who had his showcase moment for sure, elevated Braun even some more. Braun, I would say, Breaker learned from his past experiences when fighting Sami Zayn, so he kind of knew what he was up against. Flat and simple, he kicked Sammy's butt. And Sammy's character can take that. I don't think it's going to hurt him at all moving forward. I thought Sami Zayn was a fantastic Intercontinental Champion. He'll be able to move forward from this. No harm done. Braun Breaker got his moment, going to be a champion. Definitely see him on the rise down the road for sure. So Braun getting his moment in less than 6 minutes. The U.S. Championship was up next. I don't know if the WWE got everything they wanted out of Logan Paul. They got the picture with Donald Trump. The U.S. Championship got put out all over the place. And of course, Logan Paul is having a child, so maybe that's why he took the L, or maybe some of the social media stuff that he was posting maybe got him in trouble, a little backstage heat. But either way, the U.S. Championship was on the line as Logan Paul fell victim to L.A. Knight. Yeah! MGK. Cleveland's own was on the side of Logan Paul, but I don't think anybody really liked that at all. People were screaming "F you, Logan," and MGK gave him some heat. Exceeded the low expectations that I actually had for this match. It was an okay match. It was decent. It had, the bits and pieces what you expected. LA Knight is very charismatic. It was a good moment for him. LA Knight continues to be ridiculously over. People just loving the chants. They love to do the yeah. I mean, so do I. Logan Paul was a good champion. I would say arguably for being not a pro wrestler, he is probably number one on most people's lists when it comes to celebrities that step in between the ropes. Yeah, I think he was better than a Pat McAfee, say, even though Pat McAfee was awesome. I think Logan Paul definitely represented the WWE and the United States Championship very good. So definitely look forward to see what he has to bring to the table next. Comments, questions, concerns, you can definitely always leave them in the comment section below. Let us know what you thought about SummerSlam 2024. I thought it was a good show. It was decent for what it was. A little long, but we'll take it. Wrestling is not a bad thing. I will toss it over to my friends right now.
All right, thank you, Devon. All right, I'm going to have the pleasure of reviewing the next match, which was for the WWE Women's Championship, featuring the champion Bayley defending her title against the Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax. And one of the little Easter eggs that when I watch wrestling, I watch it maybe different from the average fan because of all the time that I've spent in the wrestling business. So I look for little Easter eggs, maybe inside jokes on commentary or something that goes over the head of a lot of casual viewers. And then sometimes that's intentional, sometimes it's unintentional. But in this match, there was a fun little Easter egg. Bayley and Nia Jax wrestled each other at NXT TakeOver UK. And when they did, Nia Jax went to suplex Bayley. She hooked on the front face lock and won that match via submission. They recreated that spot, and they did in wrestling what's known as a false finish, and it didn't quite secure the victory. And the announcers put that over on commentating, which is excellent. I'm so glad they did that. And it's like WWE, they have the footage. You can talk about it. And they didn't show it, but they did make mention of it. NXT TakeOver England, Bayley, Nia Jax. Bayley tried that same maneuver. It did not work. So I thought that was a lot of fun. A very good match. This match exceeded my expectations. I think a lot of people expect a Nia Jax match to go short, to be quick, to be a lot of power. And there definitely was those things in this match. However, Bayley is a phenomenal wrestler. She can make anybody look good. And this match was very good. And both wrestlers did a great job. The finish of the match ended up being not one, but two pretty vicious power bombs from Nia Jax. And then she went up to the top rope for two consecutive annihilators. that Yokozuna-like splash bonsai drop when he had done it from the second rope onto her opponent's chest, and there was no getting up from that. So she did hit one earlier in the match that Bayley had kicked out on. There was no kicking out in this instance. I will say it wasn't without 100% clean. Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffy time. Tiffy Stratton ran to the ring and interfered a little bit. Distracted Bayley, perhaps, allowing Nia Jax to help secure her victory. Tiffany and Nia celebrated with the championship in the middle of the ring. The next match was the match that I was looking forward to the most, and it happened to be the grudge match between CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, with special guest referee Seth Rollins. And in this match, they paid a little bit of an homage to SummerSlam 1997, was it? 1998? Where CM Punk wore pink boots, paying homage to Bret Hart. Drew McIntyre had on the long trench coat, obviously paying homage to The Undertaker, while the special guest referee in that 1990s match was none other than Shawn Michaels with the cut-off sleeves and the shorty shorts. Well, this, of course, had Seth Rollins with the cut-off sleeves and the referee shirt and displaying his little bit of flair. One of the things that whenever they do outdoor events, I always get a kick out of the event starts out in the daytime, and then at some point, obviously, the sun sets and it becomes nighttime, and it looks a lot like a normal arena. At the start of the Bayley-Nia Jax match, and even really, truly for the entrances for Punk and McIntyre and Seth Rollins, it was still a little bit of daylight out, but the sun was now lower than the stadium, and it had gotten dark out. The external lights are on, and by the end of this match, you forget that it's an outdoor event with the way it's lit up, and it's basically night, and it looks much like a smaller TV taping. And WWE has been trying some new things production-wise, and they had a referee cam. So they wore a little earpiece camera that they had wore for the opening match between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, and then Seth wore it as well. And if you check out the WWE social medias, they show clips of that as well as the audio of Seth antagonizing the wrestlers, and it's very, very entertaining. And I would encourage you to go search that out, check that out if you haven't done so. Overall, I mean, this match was good. It was a brawl. It was very physical. They didn't lock up. They just started throwing fisticuffs right away, went right into it. And it was probably the least technical match aside from maybe Braun Breaker and Sammy's quick match, but it was what you would expect it to be, a lot of fighting. And then it was built around this bracelet. So for those of you that don't know or didn't see Raw, there was a bracelet given to Punk by a fan. It had his dog's name, Larry, as well as AJ for his wife, AJ Lee. And during the course of the match, Drew McIntyre had it. Punk took it back. McIntyre got it back. It ends up on the ground. Seth Rollins picks it up and puts it on his wrists. CM Punk couldn't handle Seth Rollins' attitude, whatever, during the match. Gave him the GTS. Ended up taking the bracelet. But of course, when he does that, he ends up walking into Drew McIntyre and his big kick, and thus the finish of that match. So it makes for a good storyline as far as Punk and Rollins is definitely a direction they're going to go in. You are going to use or see Drew McIntyre try to use this to springboard him to the next level, which you will probably see that sooner rather than later. All in all, a lot of fun, what I'd expect it to be. And I actually like the bracelet. Derek's got some comments coming up, and he did not like the bracelet aspect of the match. I, however, did. So let us know what you think. And in the meantime, Derek's going to bring us through the rest of SummerSlam.
All right, so far for this show, we haven't seen much for in-ring action at all. We've seen a lot of run-ins, a lot of angles. We saw what was Dom going to do. We saw interference with MGK. what was Seth Rollins going to do? And they were even fighting over a charm bracelet. Like, Terry Funk wouldn't be fighting over a charm bracelet. And that brings us to Gunther and Damian Priest. And while this one did have a run-in with Finn Balor, I thought this was the match of the night. As far as in-ring action, it was hard-hitting and very physical. It's what I want out of my pro wrestling. As far as Damian Priest goes, you know, is he really a main event guy? I don't know if this title reign really lived up to expectations and brought him to that next level. But I do see Gunther as a guy that's really at that next level and can elevate this world title and probably have a long reign. I'm excited to see what they do with Damian Priest. You know, teaming up with Rhea Ripley, maybe that can help him out a little bit and kind of elevate him. But as far as Gunther goes, I think he's the right guy to carry this title, to you know, come out as the victor and everything. And it'll be interesting to see, you know, him versus Randy Orton in Berlin. You know, is Randy Orton going to get booed? I don't know. We'll see. That brings us to our next match, the main event, Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes, my man Cody Rhodes. And I got to say, this has kind of been a little lackluster title reign, I think, from Cody Rhodes, because he's kind of become an afterthought, I think, in this feud. That's really about the bloodline. It's about Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. And you could see that during this match, how the entire crowd was just looking to see when Roman Reigns was going to come out. Angelo Stefano, you know, he had said, who was the one that spoiled this for everybody? Or did everybody just kind of figure it out, I guess, that Roman was going to show up? It kind of took away from this match, and nobody was paying attention to it. And I think that really took away from Cody Rhodes. And as far as this title reign goes, it's like, outside of the AJ match, it's really lacked a lot of juice for me. We saw a lot of the run-ins and everything. We saw Jacob Fatu get involved, and maybe he got hurt. Maybe he didn't. He probably did a little bit, but hopefully he's not out for too long. Hopefully they were just, you know, keeping him away from Roman Reigns, and this was a way to take him out of the match. But Cody Rhodes comes out as the victor. I thought the match really fell flat for me, and I'm a big Cody fan. So it'll be interesting to see where they go forward with Cody and how they try to elevate his title reign a little bit more. Maybe they're just biding their time until The Rock comes back. We shall see. But yeah, Solo Sikoa is kind of a guy that I think he's been getting outshined by like Jacob Fatu. But yeah, I didn't think this main event really landed for me, and it was a little bit disappointing. And overall, I thought the show was just okay for me. It was fine. Very heavy on the entrances, very heavy on the angles and the storytelling, which is what that fan base likes, but I'm more of a fan of the in-ring work. Like I said, Damian Priest, Gunther delivered. The main event, not so much. What do you think?
Thank you, Derek. Like the boys said earlier, give us your ideas. Drop those in the comments below. We want to hear them. What was the best match? What was your least favorite match? What would you like to have seen done different? Did you agree with us that we thought maybe the Cody match was a little dull and it was sort of preoccupied by waiting for Roman Reigns to show up? We'd like to hear that. Every summer, New Japan has a tournament. This tournament, they take a group of wrestlers and they wrestle round robin style. So they call it Block A, Block B. Every wrestler in Block A wrestles each other. If you were watching any of the Olympics, it's very similar to pool play as they do in the Olympics or World Cup and some of those team sports. And they do that. And then the highest people in those standings will advance, and the winner of Block A faces the winner of Block B, and that ends up as part of the G1 climax. And Derek's going to give us a 60-second little preview and recaps thus far of this year's G1.
All right, it's time for your 60-second G1 update with your boy Derek. I gotta say, like, this G1 has lacked some of the buzz. You know, there's not really the star power that's been there in the past. New Japan has lost guys like Kenny Omega, Okada, They've lost Will Ospreay, Jay White's gone, and including on top of that, Hiroshi Tanahashi's not in this tournament, Ishii's not in this tournament. So there's a lot of the big stars that aren't in this tournament anymore. So they've had to rely on a lot of the young guys, which I think is a good thing. I think now is the time to get into New Japan Pro Wrestling, as you can watch these guys, grow and, become main eventers. They got a lot of good young guys like Yota Tsuji, Shota Umino, Yuya Uemura, I think is one of my favorites right now. And Gabe Kidd, he's been having a tremendous tournament so far and really building on that character work. But I think going back to the 20-man format with the 2 blocks is definitely much better. They trimmed a lot of the fat. I think with this roster, yeah, the ceiling is a little bit lower, but I feel like the floor is a little bit higher. But really, not really any standout matches. There's a couple good ones, like Shingo Zack Sabre was really good. Shota Umino and Gabe Kidd was very hard-hitting and physical. And then you mix in the guys that like Zack Sabre Jr., Jeff Cobb, Toa Henare, who are all having very good matches so far. So, like I said, I got Yota Tsuji winning it all against Zack Sabre Jr. Let me know who you have winning it all. We're just past the halfway point, so drop it in the comments who you think is going to win the G1.
Thank you, Dashing Derek. Excellent. We wouldn't be Ultimate Wrestling Trivia without a trivia question. So here's a trivia question from none other than our own Angelo Stefano.
My name is Derek, alongside Angelo Stefano, and who performs your favorite finishing maneuver?
Whoever fires you.
Would you stop? Anyways, today, we want to know, what was the finishing maneuver that Magnum TA did?
Was it A, the pile driver?
Was it B, the running knee lift?
Was it C, the slingshot suplex?
Or D, belly-to-belly suplex?
Thank you, Dashing Derek. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Stefano. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. That is much, much appreciated. Hit that ding the bell for notifications. As well, we be part of the 45,000 strong and growing that follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, now known as X, YouTube, you name it. We're out there. Thank you, everybody. See us next Tuesday, 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central, Ultimate Wrestling Trivia.